think I have been well and truly mugged off here. I think I've been scammed by a fellow mum. I know, can you believe it? Name's Beth. So Beth, you've still got time to come forward and make it right. I am going to assume that she's not even on TikTok, because if she was, she probably wouldn't have scammed me, because I'll make a story about it. So this week, obviously, it's the half term in the UK, and I decided to take my kids to a soft play. But where I live, the soft plays aren't that great. You know, there's kids like dropping the F-bomb in the ball pit. I thought, you know what? I'm going to treat us all. I'm going to drive us out a little bit, 50-minute drive. I'm going to take us to a really nice soft play. We get there and there is a woman standing outside with 3 small children, and she looks really frazzled. So I go to open the door for her, hold it open for her, and she says, oh, no, don't worry, we're not going in. And the little boy starts to scream, and he's like, why are we not going in? And she's like, because you've dropped my phone and my phone's not working, and so now I can't pay for anything. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad, I feel terrible. So I overhear this and I say, can I help you? Like, do you want me to like make any calls, to do anything for you? And she's like, no, it's fine. I've arranged for my husband to meet me here in 2 hours. So we're just going to have to chill, maybe go to the cafe down the road and just see if they will, like, you know, let us buy stuff and chill out there until he comes and pays. And I'm like, you can't do that. I offer her to text her husband, ring her husband, and she says, no, he's not going to be available for the next 2 hours. He's having a procedure done. And also it was raining. So you can't stand outside. You can't go to a park. You can't do anything. Just let me pay. It's not going to be that expensive. So I'm tapping my phone for all of the kids. They go in. This place is really busy, but there are a few tables left. And so I'm thinking at this point, we're going to go our separate ways. And she follows me, which is fine. And she's like, please let me get your name, get your number, and I can get my husband to send you money. And I'm like, no, it's absolutely fine. Like, this is my treat, because I've been in a similar situation before when my phone didn't work when I was abroad and my kids wanted to go on these trampolines, and this lovely guy gave me euros so that the kids could go on it. And I was like, please let me pay you back. I went and managed to get money out of a hole in the wall, and I tried to give it to him and he just wouldn't take it. And I was like, wow. So I am thinking I want to pay that forward, or at least repay my karma debt, like in the nicest possible way, please, because I don't want to seem mean, but I had so much work to do. And my husband works all the time, so half terms, it's on me. It's all on me. I needed to get this work done. I had a deadline. And soft play, that was my shining beacon of hope, to be honest with you. And so with this in mind, I am like scouting for the smallest table possible, and I go for a single table. There's only 2 chairs. My children couldn't even fit on that table with me. She follows me and she sits down with me. So I'm like, okay, fine. We chat for a little bit, of course. She's lovely. You can't help but chat back. You can't help it. We're having a little giggle. At some point, I'm like, okay, I do need to get on with a little bit of work now. So I think to myself, why don't I go and order like a coffee, and I'll stay up there for a little bit longer. I'll get some emails done. I jump up and I say, oh, I'm just going to go and grab a drink. Do you want anything? And she's like, no, go on. You've done enough. Obviously, I can tell you want a drink. Just tell me what you want. I'm not going to sit there sipping my tea in front of you, and you have a mouth like the Sahara Desert. So you just tell me what you want. And she says, oh, I'll just get the same as you, whatever you're getting. But only on one condition, and that is that I can get your name and I can get your telephone number so that I am able to send the money back to you. So I'm like, okay, fine. I am halfway to the till and I hear her calling me. So I turn around and one of her children has come down, and she says, I don't mean to be cheeky, but do you mind just grabbing him a drink? And I'm like, of course not. And then she says, actually, do you mind grabbing all 3 of them a drink? So I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. I took water bottles for my children. She tells me what her children want, and these drinks, they're drinks that my children like. So I'm like, I can't buy for hers and not mine. So I buy 5 drinks, and then I buy also our coffees. I bring them back to the table, and by this point, this place is so busy, there are no other tables available. And obviously this table is far too small for 5 children and 2 adults. So there's not even really enough room for just the drinks. Now in my head, I was going to this soft play because I heard that the food was quite good there, and I thought, I've driven all this way, I might as well just like feed the kids while I'm here. That's like 2 birds, 1 stone. I don't have to come home and clean, let alone come home, do my emails and clean and make dinner and God knows what else. So I'm looking at this tiny little table and I'm thinking, where is my kids' food gonna go? And actually, how am I gonna just order food for my kids and not her kids? So now in my head, it's not even about the money at this point. It's like, physically, how are we gonna do this? So I start to get anxiety, because that's what happens to a person like me when things don't go exactly as I wanted them to go, and I know that I'm on a time limit. So I'm like, right, I know what I can do. I'll cut the kids' time here short, and then I will find a restaurant nearby. Maybe, just maybe, by some stroke of miracle, my kids will let me do my emails while they eat their food. Pigs can fly. But that's what I was thinking at that point. So that's my plan. So I let my kids know, I'm like, this time we got to go. Don't be asking to stay longer. We need to go at this time. And they're like, okay, fine. We're going to go to this nice restaurant. The lady, of course, she overhears this. Why would she not? She's like this close to me because the table's tiny. So she overhears this and she's like, oh God, I feel terrible. I feel terrible because now like the kids aren't going to eat. My husband's not going to come for 2 hours. And I'm like, honestly, it's fine. Like, just, I will buy snacks for your kids. And she's like, oh, they've been eating snacks all day. And I'm like, I will buy a meal for your kids. I will buy a meal for your kids. I don't know how she's going to fit on this table, but I will buy it. That's her problem. Play a game of Tetris on the table. I don't care. It's not my problem. I'll be gone. She tells me what the kids want and she's very specific, which I understand. I have small children. I know how they can be. So she tells me all the meals. She tells me no sauce with this one, beans with this one, whatever. I write it in my phone because I am like Dory from Nemo. And I know by the time I get halfway there, I'll have forgotten. So I write it in my phone. I go up, I tap my phone for like the 100th time that day and wonder, do I have to move money from my savings account at this point? The service was really quick. So the food came over really quick, which I was not expecting. I thought we would be long gone by the time the food came. But no. And she looks down at the food. She goes, oh, they've got it wrong. And I'm like, no, they haven't got it wrong. Like, they've got everything right down to like no ketchup on one of the meals. And she's like, oh, are you sure? Did I tell you 1 hot dog, 2 hamburgers? And I was like, yeah, you did. And she's like, I'm not sure. Now I feel terrible. Okay, I don't know why I feel terrible because I have just literally spent about 100 quid on you so far. But I feel terrible. So I'm, oh God, like gaslighting myself into thinking like, did I order wrong? Did she not tell me that? Like, am I hallucinating? I am very stressed. Maybe I am. It is like 700 degrees in here. Maybe I am. I pick up the meal that is apparently wrong and I get ready to take it over there and I feel embarrassed to do this, but I'm just going to ask if I can exchange it. Sometimes places are nice like that. And she looks at me and she goes, oh my God, no, you can't do that. What do you mean? Oh my God, you can't do that with the meal that I pay for. I can do whatever bloody hell I want. It's my meal, essentially. But I don't do it. I put it back on the table and I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, oh, I'll just eat that because I am quite hungry now. And I'm like, yeah. At this point, I kind of thought you would say that. So I put the meal down and I go over and I order the 4th meal. Of course I do, because I'm not going to see a child go without. So she tucks into that meal and then eventually the other meal comes over and she calls her kids down and she stays sitting down while she eats and she passes the plates of food to the kids and the kids go to sit on the floor and I'm like, absolutely not. Take my seat. So I stand, which is obvious thing to do now. I would never let my kids sit on the floor if there's a seat. You're going to sit on my seat. I pull over some other chairs and I try and make room while she sits and eats. At this point, I have seen all I needed to see. So I get my kids' shoes on and I'm like hot-tailing it out of there. But just before I go to grab my bag, one of the kids says that he's thirsty again. Of course he is. Of course he's thirsty again. I look back at her and she looks at me and she goes, no, darling, you go and get a glass of water. And he does. He gets up and he goes off to the till. I have to walk past the till to get out. Just as I'm about to leave, a different child, one of her children, comes over and grabs me and says, Mummy said, can you buy me a fruit juice because I don't like water? So I say no. I didn't. I said yes. I buy 3 more. Only do I buy 3 more, the kids grab snacks and whatever they can find up there and they start chucking them on and I say no, that's enough. I pay and I leave and I'm a reasonable person. It's been a week. I haven't heard anything. I've obviously not had any money. But then today I noticed that the friend request that she sent herself from my phone on Instagram has been declined. The audacity to decline a friend request that you sent. I didn't even want to be your friend. You forced me to be friends with you. And then you snubbed me. This is how men feel. This is how men feel when we just date them for a free meal. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. So yeah, that's how I got scammed. Don't be a mug.